Hi everyone, and welcome back to Cassie's Confections. Thank you so much for watching. Today I'm going to show you how I made this girly galaxy cake. The first thing you'll do is fill and stack all of your layers. Trim off any excess cake that you don't want to extend out past the cake board. Drop a decent amount of icing on the top of the cake and spread it evenly. Place a piece of wax paper over the top of that, and then a cake board over the top of that. Put one hand on top and flip the cake upside down. Be sure the cake is level, and then spread the excess icing that has squeezed out from underneath the cake up onto the sides of the cake. Use your bench scraper to make sure none of the icing extends out past the cake board. Cover the side of the cake with icing all the way around. Scrape the extra icing off the side of the cake using your bench scraper, letting it sit 90 degrees on the cake board and using the top cake board as a guide. Let the cake chill and then fill in any holes with more icing, and then repeat the same process with your bench scraper. Place one hand underneath and one hand on top of the cake and flip it back over and remove the wax paper. I use my Cake Stacker app to find the exact amount of fondant that I need to measure out for this cake. Wet the entire cake with water, making sure you cover the corners as well, and then drape the fondant over the cake. You'll immediately want to smooth the top of the cake and attach it around the corners. Gently attach the fondant to the rest of the cake by pulling it and smoothing it as you go. You have to be very patient with this process. Trim the rest of the fondant off, but not right up flush with the cake. You want to leave a little extra for the smoothing part. Using wax paper and a cake board, you want to flip the cake upside down just as you did when it was covered with buttercream. Use a fondant smoother to very gently push the fondant down towards the bottom, which is actually the top edge. This will give you that nice sharp corner. Now you can trim off the excess fondant with a very sharp razor blade. Flip the cake back right side up. After I did a little more smoothing, I decided my edges weren't quite as sharp as I wanted them to be, so I let the cake chill for a little while and then flipped it back upside down and did a little more smoothing with my fondant smoother. Now it's time to airbrush. I went in first and did a whole base coat with electric pink, using my airbrush on a low setting and making sure to leave some white showing. I purposely did some sections darker pink than others and left a little white. Then I went in with some turquoise and did sort of a linear pattern that I thought kind of mimicked the galaxy. After that, I wanted to go in with purple, but I didn't want to just go straight in with violet, so I went ahead and went with electric purple, which is just a tad bit more pinkish. I still followed the same linear patterns and tried not to cover too much of any other colors, and definitely to still leave some white showing. Finally, you'll go in with your violet and add in the darker sections. This cake was a girly cake, but if I were to do a traditional galaxy, I would start with blue and then probably go to violet and then black. The very last thing you'll want to do is go back in with that electric pink and darken up some areas. I decided to sprinkle on some gelatin glitter. Next, you'll want to go in with some white royal icing and pipe on your stars. You want to try and follow that same linear pattern. If you feel at all confused or unsure, you can always pull up some pictures of the galaxy online. You can also make sure your stars vary in size just a little bit. Just for a fun added touch, I decided to roll out some gum paste and punch out some stars with my plunger cutter. Attach them to the cake using piping gel. I chose to airbrush the cake on its final cake board just because I knew I was going to cover it with a sugar sprinkle concoction that I created, so none of the airbrush color would show. However, I did wipe off the extra airbrush color before doing it. If you choose to do this, you can apply piping gel to the whole cake board, and then apply your ribbon, and then use a spoon to sprinkle on your sprinkles. A dry paintbrush will help you spread them evenly. last thing I did was tap on some of that gelatin glitter to add a little sparkle to the board as well. Here's the final galaxy cake. Thank you so much for watching, you guys. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give me a thumbs up and please subscribe to my channel. We'll see you next time.